I want to go ahead and start this and get this out of the way right now. And I know how controversial it is. I know it's on everybody's mind. It's been all I've been seeing for the last 48 to 72 hours. Bill Goldberg announced he's having his last match in 2025.
Didn't. Lead with that.
My only question to y'all two is who,
Read the room,
if
Matt.
we have to see Bill Goldberg wrestle one more time in WWE, who would you like to see that match against?
I care less.
Swerve Strickland. Oh, that's right. He said that AEW was a clown show and he didn't want to wrestle there.
Oh, he ain't going to no damn AEW.
I mean, I'm guessing it has to be Gunther, right? Like they set that up.
Yeah.
Like, right. So I guess we have to see that. But you know what? If Goldberg last match, I feel like he has to go through his 3-minute thing. You know, he hits the spear.
Okay.
He hits Gunther the jackhammer. Gunther kicks out. They have a little bit of a back and forth, and then Gunther pins Goldberg, sends him on his way. Because the question is this one of the things to where does Goldberg get the Sting treatment, right? Where he kind of goes out and wins, or does he pass the torch, so to speak, to the next generation? To me, he has to pass the torch. I don't think he has the Sting legacy. Right, because I don't think even Undertaker lost his last match, didn't he?
Everybody loses their last match outside of Sting, and that was built up. That was completely different. AEW treated him like the best thing in the world. So I agree with you. He can't beat Gunther, but I don't even know if he can get Gunther up in the jackhammer. That will look good. It may be just spear, and then he kicks out maybe. But like if this was a thing where he wants to win, and I wouldn't hate if he won. Like whatever, God bless. You retired. You came back. You came back for your last match. Cool, whatever. It can't be against like a major star. You can't leave with your hand raised against a major star. Gunther can't put him over. He's got to put Gunther over, if anything. But honestly, I don't even think that does much for Gunther. I don't.
Beating Goldberg?
Brock Lesnar does something for Gunther, but beating Goldberg, it's all in the build. If they build it right, maybe, but just right now, when he came out and said that his last match is in 2025, last thing we saw was Gunther. It could be anybody, but I'm not really clamoring for a Bill Goldberg match. Now, I was here for Bill Goldberg in AEW. I was here for him and maybe even Sting at Wembley, but I was like, yes, they could do something. I think that would be fun. But in WWE, I'm good. I'm good. I'm straight.
Sting and Goldberg couldn't have a good match 40 years ago, not let alone in the 60s, goddammit.
Hey, man, at least it gives us them feels back. At least it gives them feels back. Let's get this show started. Welcome to the TFW podcast. We are back. 3 the hard way, the way it's meant to be seen, the way it's meant to be heard. God bless. God bless everybody. This show is called That's Freaking Wrestling. I was really close to like renaming the podcast and this being episode 1 of Thanks a Fucking Lot, America. But I'm not going to do that because we're going to stick to the graps. We're going to stick to the wrestling on this show. I'm sure Vince McMahon's happy. If that man gets prosecuted, I'm sure his friend will pardon him and they'll be one big happy family. But on this podcast, we got a lot to talk about. He said he wanted to talk about SmackDown from last Friday. I was like, damn, okay. He said he wanted to talk about Saudi. I was like, all right, I guess we can talk about Crown Jewel. Of course, we were just so far removed from those things by the time we record. We are recording right now in the middle of NXT and AEW. As I typically say when we record on Wednesdays, hey, I'm going to watch AEW afterwards. I am going to watch NXT first tonight. And then if I get to AEW tonight, okay, cool. But I'll probably end up watching AEW maybe tomorrow or Friday. What's your guys' wrestling schedule for NXT and AEW?
I'm still trying to get over my heartbreak right now. So I'll probably wallow and watch an NXT tonight. And then depending, probably not pick it back up again until Friday to watch SmackDown. Ugh, I might miss Dynamite this week.
Hey, real quick. I saw this Dave Chappelle skit with Chris Rock.
Perfect. That was from what, 2016, right? Or
2016.
Yeah.
2016.
Like, right. And
dead on.
That's a good portion of you Americans. Like, right? See, I was Dave Chappelle the whole time. I'm like, okay. I heard all the talk back and forth, but I was Dave Chappelle in that skit the whole time. Actually, and towards the end, the last couple of weeks, actually, I probably became Chris Rock. I think I started becoming the obnoxious one. I just like, I actually, even today, I was like the obnoxious guy because people were coming in there in my little store that I managed, and they're so happy, gums showing and everything, and I'm just real obnoxious. But let's talk about something else obnoxious.
Hey, real quick. Hey, look, I got a text
from
somebody. I got a text from somebody who lives in Tennessee right now. He said, people here in Tennessee, man, you would have thought the Titans won the Super Bowl. They are so happy. I was like, yikes. This is what it is. It is what it is. You're going to have half the people or more than half that's happy. You're going to have half or more than half that's not happy. I was surprised by the results, though. Just how far it was. I thought the Democrats would have pulled it out. But when I saw just how far of a gap, how wide that was, I was surprised about that part. But people spoke, right? And
man, it's funny. Like I said, I was Dave Chappelle the whole long. I've been talking about the whole thing. I'm like, man, y'all think this is gonna be close? Like, I don't know, but hey, this ain't that's politics. I guess this is that's wrestling. But I do gotta ask you guys a question. I do gotta ask you guys a question. Like, it's not even the question. It's like, damn. Like, the mighty have fallen. Can you imagine 2 years ago saying that I think I'm gonna watch NXT tonight over AEW?
Hell no. Well, let's think. 2 years ago was 2022.
3 years ago, hell to the no.
Well, let's think.
Like, what you smoking? Crack? The same shit that half America is? Okay, let me stop.
Let's look.
I think even going back 2 years ago, I think it would have been hard pressed, especially you guys, to get you to watch an NXT show over an AEW show.
All right. So I just Googled NXT 2022 roster list. This may be wrong. See, this is wrong. I hate when they do that. All right.
Well, let's just think. When did Triple H take over and then he assigned Shawn Michaels down to NXT? We can work that way.
So it's 2024 towards the end. We're talking about, in 2022. So I think we got the switch over by 2022, right? But NXT was getting better, right, under Shawn.
Okay.
Right? But to say that we would be interested in seeing that over an AEW show, man, especially with the roster with Real Ospreay, man, because, like, Matt, that's like your favorite wrestler, or was, right? Mm-hmm. Mercedes. We're going to talk about it a little later. I want to talk about, I want to give him his flowers, Bobby Lashley. Like, we got Ricochet over there. Like, we talk about, like, that monster over roster, and we're saying that, damn, we want to see NXT and ECW arena with a bunch of guys that haven't been on WWE TV with some of the gals in about maybe 15 years. I mean, that's saying something about the state of AEW with some of the hardcore audience. I find it to be fascinating and sad in a little ways. But to answer your question, man, like, more so than NXT, Matt and Rhodesia, I'm like on the ECW kick right now. Like, I missed most of that in my childhood. I could never catch it. I don't know if I don't think I even had a DVR back then, because I was like,
it came on Passports back in the day.
Yeah,
that was the earliest Passports for anybody who was in Detroit.
I never could catch it. So I caught spot shows here enough, but not enough shows to actually be able to follow the storylines and know what was going on. But I was always kind of a fan of the guys, and it was a little bit of a mystique for me because I wasn't able to see them as often. But I'm watching it now, and I'm like really in love with ECW, and it just so happens that NXT's there. I'm watching on Peacock right now.
Okay. Is like any rhyme or reason? Like, are you just going from like the earliest episodes you can find and press and play, or are you trying to watch it in any type of chronological order?
Well, I think I shared you guys before. Like, Raven's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. So, and I love that version of Raven, especially when he got to WCW. I was happy when he got there. I was able to see more of him. So I kind of started right when he kind of debuted. And much to my surprise is that Stevie Richards was almost kind of like a manager for Raven and did most of the talking. Mm-hmm. So it's it's just I'm just learning things about the characters that I never knew before, and just to see it. And to be honest with you, and this sound, I don't mean for it to be like this, but I gotta tell y'all something, man. These storylines I'm seeing on ECW in 1995, it's better than ones I'm seeing on AEW in 20.
Well, of course, Paul
And
Heyman's
isn't
behind
Paul
it.
Heyman Jinx?
I was say
behind
them
the whole thing.
storylines in ECW could be better than main roster outside of Bloodline storylines. ECW was it, man. They were fantastic. The NXT 2.0 was between 2021 and 2022.
And
So
I wanted to
White
pull
and
this up.
Gold was 2022 to of course present time right now. So still, if you said 2 years ago, right now, no way I would say I've been watching NXT over AEW. But I think that also just shows how wrestling can go in waves, because it's not like, oh man, AEW is so bad I gotta watch NXT. No, to me it's more of NXT is so good and so much better to me right now than AEW. I'd rather watch that over what I used to watch. I'm just not into AEW right now. I mean, I'm not. I was talking to Matt, I think it may have been yesterday. It was last night. I was just like, I watched it. So I watched the show last week. And I remember I said, like, if that one don't catch me, I may be out for a little bit. And there was some good stuff on there. But overall, I love seeing Bobby Lashley. But it's just like, man, like they'll one step forward, 2 steps back. Right? This amateur hour. And I know like things can happen. But the lights going out when the lights aren't supposed to go out. You hearing them count them down 45 seconds, 30 seconds. And yeah, like we know it happens. I don't want to hear it. You take me out of the moment. But overall, like the show was okay. Like if I don't watch this week's show, I'll be cool. We're going to the taping for Dynamite and Collision. Outside of that show, I'm like, man, I'll catch it when I catch it. That's just kind of where I'm at right now, because I am that high on NXT right now. If it was this or that, of course I'm high on Raw and SmackDown. I think WWE is about to turn it up a notch now. We got War Games coming up in 4 weeks. Then we roll into Saturday night's main event. Then we roll into Royal Rumble, and it's Mania season, right? Like, so for AEW, they gotta. I don't even know if they gotta catch up or do anything. I think I'm just kind of out. I think I'm good right now.
I was going to say that's probably how I feel. Probably most people feel. If you are still an AEW fan, then you are just still an AEW fan. And if you're not, it's probably nothing they can do, especially now entering WrestleMania season. It's probably not much that you're going to do to grab my attention back. And it's crazy because it's been a year already. I remember having the same conversation maybe 11 months ago, 10 and a half months ago, talking about, AEW, no matter what you do. And this was after the horrific Devil storyline unfolding. And it was just like, yep, at that point, I don't think you can pull me back because it's beginning Mania season. And that's crazy that WWE has been that good, that entertaining, that we never went back to AEW like full time, like making sure we watched it on Wednesday, or if not on Thursday. We're a whole nother year. So it's just like not a good sign for them, as far as people who have the option and feel like they like different types of wrestling styles. Unless you're AEW fan, you're there. They got you. But if you're not.
But then the crazy thing with that too is it's not a this or that. It's not an either or, because if that's the case, we wouldn't watch NXT. Like, I personally know a lot of wrestling fans that only watch WWE. They don't even watch NXT. Hell, Dwayne's like that. He only watches NXT.
Or WWE.
Or I'm sorry, WWE. Mm-hmm. So it's not a okay, I only have time to watch one, so let me just watch WWE. It's just the quality to me is just that much lower when I try to watch AEW, and then I see the nonsensical things that happens in storylines and such. But once again, of course, I hope everything turns out well for them. I do want to bring up real quick, and then we can get into whatever you guys have. We're kind of just like free balling right now. I didn't even intro the pod properly.
No.
Rhodesia is there. Nice job last week too, y'all. Y'all brought it. I did laugh. I laughed hysterically. I thought it was a great show, but I did laugh hysterically that you guys just like skimmed right over the Saudi show, and like E didn't mention anything about Cody for the most part. I was like, look, he's getting them chinks in his armor now. Now it's just a gimmick. He really don't give a damn about Cody Rhodes like that. he just keep it up for the folks. So I appreciate that. But Rhodesia is in the house. Eshaun's in the house. Of course, I am in the house. What I wanted to bring up, and then you guys can do whatever you guys want to talk about. I do want to talk about the Bloodline story from just everything we've seen. We saw it on SmackDown, which was taped. And that's what I was so irritated about, that you gave the yeet and them getting together on a tape show because it got out, and then we had Saudi. But the only thing I didn't care much for the match at all at Crown Jewel. Yeah, I said as much on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter if you haven't yet. That's F&W. But I thought it was just what it was. And I wasn't expecting much because War Games is coming and we know it's going to be the same people.
War Games.
With more people. Very nice, sir. And it was what it was. So I was like, okay, whatever. But I'm sitting there watching and I was like, this fucking storyline is like just so good. And it continues to get better in my opinion. Because like
even with the Rush J story, dropping the title, and even right now you still feel that wholeheartedly.
Character wise.
Okay.
So what I mean by that is like they've done this perfectly with typically when you get like a major story like this, it's for a reason. Right? It typically is for one reason. So if it's a movie or let's just stick to wrestling. If it's a major storyline, it is meant to get one person over. Right? Like a title reign is either meant to set up the person who has the title or is meant to pass off all that equity from those title defenses to the babyface who wins the championship from that monster heel. It's typically always one person. With this storyline, if Triple H or hell, Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns was to come and tell us, man, this whole story was to make me the modern era GOAT. You'd be like, all right, that makes sense. Those same people came to you and said, this whole story was to make Cody the next John Cena because he took the title off me after 4 years. You'd be like, all right, okay, that makes sense. If they said this whole story was to make Jey Uso one of the biggest names in pro wrestling in the year 2024 and completely shift him from tag team specialist to single star, you'd be like, damn, all right, that makes sense. If he was to say this whole story was to get Sami Zayn, who was always known just as this underdog, lovable babyface character that nobody really took seriously, to being a massive integral part to this story and to have him be put in bigger and better situations than he ever could without the bloodline, you'd be like, all right, it sounds good. If they would say the same thing about Solo Sikoa, hey, this whole thing is for the new tribal chief after I lose, after having this belt for 4 years, to give my cousin the stamp of the new tribal chief and to make sure that he is thrust into the spotlight in his first 2 years on the main roster, where he is a made man no matter what happens for the next 5 to 10 years, you will be like, all right, that sounds pretty good. That's amazing that they were able to take all those pieces. And I can keep going. I can mention Jimmy. Jimmy's not the main guy, but Jimmy's bigger than what he was.
We could keep going now.
We could keep going. But for them to be able to highlight all these people and elevate all of these main stars, man, that is just something that is unheard of. And it keeps going, because then we could talk about Jacob. We can talk about Rock, but Rock's already a main man. This thing is just like, it's that I was just like, this is fantastic. When I was watching the match, and I'm just like, look at all these pieces of everybody who was such bigger deal than what they were 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. And I can't pinpoint who is the biggest out of this storyline. Love it. Once again, chef's kiss.
I want to ask you one question, and I know we have Paul Heyman in there, and you mentioned all of this stuff, and like, this is once in a, what did I say last week? Once in a lifetime generational, something like that. I said, if Roman wasn't a heel, do you think he would have been able to accomplish all of that you said? Or hey, even a portion of all that you said still, if he was a good guy?
I think we had to get that version of him in order to get this storyline through. I don't know how a babyface Roman Reigns would be the leader of the bloodline, would be the tribal chief. That it's a kind of a heel character. Like, I feel like that version of the character was needed, and that version of the character is what got him over so big in the eyes of the universe. So,
Big Dog not carrying that. He not. And we were all big Dog fans. the cool factor of Roman as the heel, as the bloodline. No, I don't think he could have been a babyface and still been that big, because eventually the crowd would have turned. And the thing about as a heel, unless you get the go away heat, crowd can't turn on you because you're heel. You're not supposed to be liked anyway.
I thought about something. I'm like, Roman Reigns has been part of two of the most successful factions in WWE history, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Shield, the Bloodline. Like, I can't think of another guy who's been part of an integral part of two factions.
Ooh, let's do it. Let's do it.
That pushed
Triple H. Triple H.
And what though?
Evolution and
DX and Evolution.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was Shine in? I guess it's only DX, right?
No, it's DX.
We don't count the Rockers. Who else? Flair.
As what?
Four Horsemen. Evolution.
Well,
Evolution. But he was.
Yeah,
I looked
Evolution.
at him more as like the patriarch of that. I didn't really consider him as a talent in that sense, in that regard.
Can we? Cody, Bullet Club, and no, maybe not. You can't include
Cody
the tag
only
team
had,
with Ted DiBiase and Randy Orton.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
I mean,
not.
wait, Legacy. I mean, that was
Yeah,
that
that's
was
what I'm
there,
saying.
right? But not to that. Legacy wasn't to the level of the Bloodline and the Shield. Like, right, but no, Triple H. Yeah, I mean that's DX, of course, right? I don't know. I think we ranked factions before, and I'm pretty sure he was on high on all of our lists. Then, of course, Evolution was more short lived, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it was around
sure.
It was around as long as the Shield was.
What about NWO? Was Hall or Nash in a faction? And we can't. I'm not counting Wolfpack.
Because you remember Hall was Razor Ramon before he became Scott Hall.
The Diamond Stud. You young whippersnappers, go ahead and look that up. I wonder what do you guys think our youngest person is that listens? What's the age?
I'm gonna say at least half my age, because they call me mama. So
I said the youngest. That person may not ever have left us a message, has done anything to communicate with us or engage. And we have a lot of people who don't engage with us. But shout out to y'all. We love y'all. But what do you think the youngest person is? I'm gonna say the youngest person as at least, I'm gonna say 20 years old is the youngest listener or watcher.
I was gonna say 15.
I'm gonna say 20.
I'll go 20.
Yeah,
but I gotta ask you guys something.
Yeah.
So I was watching the shows, especially when I watched the Saudi show, and I was, we had that Bloodline match, right?
So what did y'all think about that match? Did you like it? Did you think it was great? Did you think it was good? Did you think it was average? You think it was sucked? What did you think?
So for me, match quality is that's the third or fourth thing I look for. For me, that match was about, for one, it was a moment, right? So we got essentially very early on, we got Bloodline 1.0 versus 2.0. Right? No surprise that the 4 out of the 3 they went with was Tonga, Jacob, and Solo, right? And they told
my guy Tonga Loa is getting the short end of the stick.
Right? No surprise there, right? But we had that. That's a moment in itself. Another moment that we kind of skimmed past real quickly was that, and WWE kind of skipped over very quickly too, was that Solo pinned Roman. Right? So we got in the past 5 years, we got Roman pinned clean twice. One by Cody was the biggest stage of them all.
No, 3 times. 3 times.
JB,
the month before SummerSlam.
Oh man, yeah, in a tag match. I forgot about that, right?
Yep. But still,
now
think about that. 2 was your cousins. 1 was the face of the company.
Yeah. Right. And so he's one of those guys who's they're not just giving out losses to, right? Like when he loses, it's going to mean something. Right. So you can't. They kind of went to the next thing really quickly, but I'm sure they're going to circle back to that on SmackDown. It's going to be made a big deal by Solo, right? So that happened. So you think about the overall the overall moment of it. It was big. It was huge. It was on a big stage in front of a gigantic stadium, right? But one thing I took notice of was when Bloodline 1.0 came out, right? You had Jimmy come out, right? Then Roman came out. And who's the last one to come out for that team? It was Jey
Person that
Uso.
deserved
To
it.
me, that was the best thing of the match. Outside of, like the story part of it, Sammy getting involved afterwards and that whole shenanigans. But seeing Jay get the spot, I was like, that is great.
Jay
That
got
is really
the
fucking cool.
spot, right?
Yep.
And he had that, and like his energy he brings with his entrance, the music and everything. I know you mentioned before about like the music, like we've had a version of it, but this is the version of it. You remember back in the day in the 90s, right? And, we had the remix sometimes always hit harder than the original, right? Like that remix was something, right? And this is the best remix, and it fits him, right? It's just me, like it's the song and the lyrics perfectly meshes what Jay is about, and it's catchy and easy for you to know, right? Like my kids know the song. Like, let me tell y'all something. I told you, like y'all, like freaks, friends of the show. Like I sent like a video of the kids, my 11-year-old, my 6-year-old jamming out to Jey Uso in the car. They got the hands waved. They know the song. So like I'm watching the show, and so I in my daddy cave, I got a section where I got my like big screen TV, my gaming stuff, and I got another section of the daddy cave where it's the kids area. So I got a TV over there. They do their thing, whatever. So they kind of can still hear what I'm doing. Like my oldest son is on his iPad. He's watching Pokemon. All of a sudden, Jay comes out there. It's just me, Oos. And then my son, Ethan, goes, Daddy, throws his iPad to the side, and the hands is waving. He's just like, it's just like he get geeked the whole time. Like the whole time, he getting it, right? And so I'm like, damn, what a moment this is to see Jay like blew off the roof, right? First match on this huge stadium, and like his song and lyrics are being recited, in the Saudi crowd. I'm like, amazing. I gotta tell you, I thought like, goddamn, for a moment, I think that
stop
Jey
that.
Uso,
No, stop.
Jey Uso
Stop.
might be a bigger star
Look.
than Roman Reigns is right now.
But to dispute that, when Jay was actually in the ring multiple times, they were chanting OTC. So I could get you there for a second, but in reality, in practice, when he's actually in the ring, they were chanting for Roman to get tagged in.
And then when Jay got tagged in again, another pop, boom, right? He got popped right back in there, right? So, man, like Jay might be the guy right now.
It was great. And they got 4 weeks to tell a great story with Sammy. I like what they did on Raw with Jay basically saying like he is family. And Jimmy like, man, he ain't no damn family. Come on, man, you gotta come to SmackDown, Oos. It's like Roman's still pulling it off. Roman's like, y'all coming to me, man. I'm not coming to y'all. That's a little nuts, but
wait a minute, Rhodesia didn't say what she thought about the match.
Oh, yeah. So skip me.
Sorry,
my
bad.
I got you though, sis. I got you.
Thank you. I actually enjoy the match. I'm like, look at Roman and I finishing off of a show. And for me, why I love the match so much is because he wasn't main eventing. I've told y'all before, Roman main eventing the show isn't quite my cup of tea in his wrestling style. But he did take L's all night. So like you mentioned, solo pinned him. Then he got a Luva kick. Like Roman is just L's all night. So I actually liked the match. I thought it was cool, especially how it built up toward the end. Again, I'm trying to see what happens over these next 4 weeks to get me like, okay, we got this in Saudi, but it's going to be even that much more better, that much more gruesome, more stress, more tense at War Games, for it to be like a War Games, to warrant a War Games, like to blow off that steam. I'm excited to see where they're going to take us in these next 4 weeks. I don't know if I'm going to be like, hell yeah, they achieved optimum hypeness from me, but we'll see. I'm always surprised with what the Bloodline has in store.
They did. So this story now is in reverse of what I thought. And I said that at the end of that match when he lost before Sammy came out. I'm like, this is where I thought we were starting the story with Roman. I thought he was going to lose everything and then kind of come crawling back to Jimmy and Jay to reunite. So they're kind of just telling it a little in reverse, which is fine. It still feels like it's in fast forward, but it has slowed down just a little bit now because they got 4 weeks to build to War Games.
Do y'all think for the two of you, come 4 weeks from now in a day, do you think that you're going to be impressed on the actual War Games itself and the build and the execution? Just War Games.
Mm-hmm. Because what they ran through what should have taken 2 months already. It shouldn't take 2 months to get Sammy on board. The part that should have took the longest from a concentrated effort storyline is with Jay to make him as big as possible work. Roman keeps showing up to him. And he's like, no, man, I'm good, dude. I'm straight. Like, I left y'all. I'm perfectly fine. That was what I wanted to happen over and over again. But they're giving him shine by having him come out last and, you know, do that whole thing. But no, I think by the time they get to War Games, I think we're going to be like, all right, we're ready for this.
And then you think they're going to execute?
Yeah, they're going to have to.
Okay.
Because what part of anything major in Bloodline have they not executed?
Nothing that comes to mind. But again, like I said, this is, to me, just feels a lot different as far as how quick we got here. And then something having for me to, because again, we've got a glimpse of it now. Like we've got part of a mini War Games today or at Crown Jewel. How is it going to look at War Games when they're really there? Like, to me, I just feel like maybe some of the like when y'all mentioned before, like having your an AEW when MJF has started the show and then came in and finished the show, kind of like you missing some of that umpness, some of that aura is not there or excitement is there because we already saw them earlier in the show. That's kind of how I feel about right now about having Saudi and then now 4 weeks later having War Games. I don't know if they're going to be able to build to that for me.
I'm sure it's going to be because it's part of the story. If you think about where they are right now, like right where with the characters, we got War Games coming up quickly. We knew, you know, almost like 6 months ago, it's like this would be where they were going, right? As soon as they gave us the Bloodline 2.0 and Solo and all the other guys came, we're like, oh, okay. When Roman comes back, we know it's going to be a face. Jay's already a baby. You know, we're going to get Jimmy in there. You know, Sammy's in the way. Like we knew this was going to come. So, I mean, you know, in hindsight, you would kind of like to be able to kind of tell a better story with Jay. It definitely has been fast forward a little bit, but it's so good. And as Matt said earlier, well, maybe not Matt was saying actually, but I was thinking as you were speaking earlier, you know, on SmackDown, when Jay was in the ring with Roman, he was like, look, we equals now, Oos. I ain't your right-hand man. I ain't your henchman. I'm your equal. Like, right? And when he's standing next to Roman, he's the equal. For sure. Like, right? And especially in the eyes of that universe. So mission accomplished right there. And like Jay can stand on his own. I was kind of concerned that, you know, standing next to Roman, that he might get swallowed up in Roman's aura. But damn, I gotta tell you, I don't know if Roman's doing it intentionally, but Roman's getting swallowed up in his a little bit. Right? Roman kind of just stands there. He makes them faces. Like, you know, like he's thinking and, you know, then he just, you know, he lets Jay go off and he goes at the end, yeet. Right? So it might be all by design.
When he did that yeet, that is like, whoa, like people pop. So I think part of that was cool. That was cool. He has to play second. Like he has to let Jay get over. But I still think I get what you're saying. The excitement of there is no denying he has those places rocking when he first comes out. But that's something to say. I think you probably hit us with the first hyperbole of the night.
He's definitely full of hyperbole.
No. So y'all just like y'all, hey, just like y'all ain't want to see Roman lose, man. Y'all don't want to acknowledge Jay. Y'all still want to knock Jay down. I'm not gonna let y'all do it. We gonna build this man up because when Jay come out there, it's a party. He been training because y'all been kind of knocking Jay since he been doing his own thing. Since it's just been him. He ain't been good enough. He better than good enough. There's your selective
listening. That's fine though. That's fine.
No, man. Here's the thing I love about our fan base. They listen to the shows and they see through the BS that happens on the show.
And not one person has ever said like, "Man, you've been shitting on Jey Uso, so you need to cut Jey Uso some slack." I think everybody who's listening knows exactly.
Is he eating too much? Oh, his promo is like, come on now,
and he was.
He's not. He wasn't. If he was doing that too much, he would be blown off the roof right now. If he wasn't doing what he needed to do, the results wouldn't be there. The results are the results.
Okay.
It don't matter if you like what he was doing. The crowd liked what he was doing.
So John Cena being one of the GOATs and being on the Mount Rushmore, everything he did then was perfect is what you're telling me. And we know that damn sure ain't true.
People was booing his ass every day. Ain't nobody booing Jey Uso. Come on now. He was being booed.
And the pink
he was
shirt,
being booed by half the audience.
And the blue shirt and the red shirt.
He was being booed by half the audience. And all the hardcore fans, including myself, want to see him turn heel because nobody liked him but kids and women. Jey Uso is probably more popular right now than John Cena was back then.
Oh my God.
Put it on my word. Stamp it.
Hyperbole part 2.
At this point, yeah.
That ain't hyperbole.
Just end the show.
That's
at this
real.
Point, should this be the quickest TFW?
That's real talk. Jey Uso ain't getting booed out in no arenas.
All right, I want to really. Then we need to really switch gears because my man's going crazy. I would love if the women would just wear their Saudi outfits every single week. When they wear their Saudi outfits, you can absolutely see and tell the real hoopers from the real hoopers. And I appreciate that, and I respect it, and I love it.
What do you mean by real hoopers?
Anybody who has watched the Saudi show or the Monday Night Raw show, they're both for Saudi. But you watch Crown Jewel or Monday Night Raw, you can see the difference from the real hoopers and the real hoopers.
Well, well, enlighten me. What is a real hooper?
No, you must have watched them. You must have didn't watch the show because if you watch the show, you know damn sure what I'm talking about. But I do have a question. They teased the Jade and Bianca stare down.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts?
Well, it was like canceled out when Jade saved. I don't know if I'm jumping ahead here, but when Jade saved Bianca, so and then she ended up losing and going over the top. So to me, maybe I could kind of see that, but it like shortly later, it was like no, like Jade got Bianca, and that's kind of how I took it as. So for me, it was nothing, a seed, but nothing really.
Oh yeah, they planting that seed, baby. I talked about it months ago. We gonna see Bianca and Jade at WrestleMania. What a match that's going to be. We are definitely going to see the female versions of the Mega Powers explode, and that was the plant of the seed. That's what Liv was there for. Liv was there for the start for one of them, right? Because both these girls think they're the biggest and the baddest. At some time, we gotta figure out who it is, because these girls ain't the Road Warriors, right? Like Animal and Hawk, they were both of the biggest, baddest. They were a team. You knew they were together. But Jade and Bianca, they come out separately, like right. They coordinate a little bit, but they ain't wearing the same thing. Like they're obviously two singles wrestlers that came together that gelled, and they going through opponents because individually they're dominant. Like, right? These ain't the Rockers. These ain't the Rock and Roll Express. This is better than Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold Steve Austin, but that's the kind of on the lines of where it's going to be. You're going to definitely see them explode. Like, because at some point, and it's going to be interesting which one point, one of them going to want more. Like, you know what? The tag team titles is cool, but maybe I want that world title, right? So I think between now in April, we're going to see them on that card. I think it's going to be huge.
So we got 6 months then.
Five.
I'm sorry, 5 months.
But I would say
yes or no.
5.
Yes or no. And you cannot give me any more than yes or no.
Well, I am, but go ahead.
No, you're not. I'll hit you with it. No, okay, go ahead and try me. I'm going to hit you with a mute. If you forgot, ma'am, I control your vocals over there. So I dare you to try to talk more than that. I'm going to hit you with a mute. Yes or no? Is Jade Cargill ready for a one-on-one match with Bianca Belair?
Are we saying when?
Yep. In 5 months.
You mean for Mania?
Yep.
No. I don't even want them.
Boom. Hit her with a mute. I told her ass I was going to do that shit. E, yes or no?
Absolutely, yes.
And I think absolutely not. She's got a long way to go to
you
be able to
me
carry.
Yet?
Yeah, you're unmuted.
Okay.
She's got a long way to go to be able to carry what we think and know that match should be. One-on-one with Bianca Belair at WrestleMania.
I agree.
Jay's got a long way to go.
Man, I'm telling y'all, like, man, look, Matt, you've been around for a long time watching these goddamn matches, man.
Mm-hmm. That's why I said she's got a long way to go.
Didn't Hulk Hogan not carry the Ultimate Warrior?
Ultimate Warrior still wasn't smiling when he was down in the cell, like Jay does.
Hey, look, I don't know if he was or wasn't. I wasn't looking for it. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I don't know if he was.
You haven't gone back to watch that match?
Look, this Seth Rollins not carry almost, or who ain't almost, ain't never seen his ass in the ring ever since.
That was his best match.
Like, right? We like
Almost
but
ain't
we
dead,
done
but rest in
we
peace,
done
almost.
seen guys. We done seen. See, that's the beauty of wrestling. That's one of the great things about wrestling it being staged because like they can add smoke and mirrors to
So then she's not ready.
make things.
If you got to do all that, I'm saying
No,
she's ready to
yes,
hold
you
up
do.
on her own.
You,
Okay.
That's fine. Look, Matt, you watch. See, I'm just getting into ECW, right?
Okay.
Was Sandman a great wrestler?
Oh, he's one of the worst.
How many
Everything
times
was about before the belt.
How many
With
how many
Sandman, everything
ECW
was about
champions
before.
was? How many
Rhodesia.
times did he have held the belt?
He would drink a 12. He would drink a 12, legit 12 back. He wouldn't do the Austin
Absolutely.
at the end of the match where he would just pour it and it just fall out. No, Sandman would legit drink a 6 to 12 pack, just walking around before the match started. Would enter the Sandman music, drinking. By the time the match started, he was high as a kite. He was lit.
Rhodesia, let me ask somebody that you be more familiar with. How good of a main event wrestler was Goldberg?
Okay, why are we still talking about Goldberg? I mean, okay,
Give it up.
Goldberg was Jade Cargill, 2025.
Main event. Okay,
Jade Cargill
Goldberg
versus Bill Goldberg.
They built Bill Goldberg as
Fear
the man,
this.
so he was a great main eventer. But wrestling ability, no.
No.
He has a lot.
He wasn't
to be desired. There's a
There
lot
you go.
left to be desired as a wrestler.
And he did just fine, right?
But
he did just
here's the
fine.
thing. But here's the thing.
That'd be just fine.
That's not going to work against Bianca. And what I was trying to get at before Matt tried to mute me was that
I didn't try.
Look, if we talk about 5 months from now, that means in order for us to build, to get the graphics, to get the promo shots and stuff like that, to start that campaign and that feud against each other, we're talking about getting that started probably as early as Royal Rumble, maybe right after Royal Rumble. Is that like Elimination Chamber? That's 4 months from now, 3.5 to 4 months from now. That ain't gonna work. I do not feel comfortable that she's going to be ready for one to execute on the level that she wants, and the same thing that Bianca would want to execute on. I think,
and it's a long time. Like 5 months is a hell. That's half almost half of a year.
That's why I said 3 months, because you got to still 3.5 months, because you still got to get that feud started. So then,
I'm only talking from a work perspective in the WrestleMania match, because this is a match where I said I thought if they held it off long enough, it could be a night one main event.
But
whenever they pull the trigger, I just don't want them to. I don't want it to be a letdown for her. That's all. I don't want it to be a letdown for her. So I hope I'm wrong. And look, y'all know I'm a major Jade fan. She looked incredible.
Only us hardcore fans.
She needs to keep that look.
Us hardcore fans talk extensively about ring work. It's not about that. It's about the moments. It's about the moments. And Jade has
Cody
enough
and Roman
presence.
Smoked both their WrestleMania matches. They know it's about the in-ring work in those two matches. And I'm not saying this is not going to be
exactly.
Damn,
this is not going to be that.
It should be really, really big though, man.
You
said Mega Powers. Hogan and Savage knew about work rate.
This will be a fine 8 to 10 minute match.
Oh my God! See, no, then that's wrong. Then hold off. Wait till WrestleMania 41 or 42. If this is going to be an 8 to 10 minute match, after having these girls together for a year, dominating everything and everybody they touched, we can only get 8 to 10 minutes out of them.
Everything will have to be 20 minutes now. Everything has to be 30 minutes.
I would say that this would probably have right now, as it stands, a recipe of Jimmy and Jay Part 2. Like, I think that this would be an absolute letdown, and that's only because I just don't see it right now. And this is no disrespect, because this is like two goddesses. Two different gods from different universes and planets going against each other. Like, it needs to be, it should be argued as, why aren't you the main event of WrestleMania?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So, and I don't think we will get there that quick. And I don't think that I'll just let it be like that, because I don't want to sound like I'm hating on either one of them. I just don't think it's time yet. Maybe I just roll with it's not time.
Jade is a much better wrestler in 2025 than Goldberg ever was. And Goldberg was in 1,000 main events. And
so why the hell y'all keep bringing Goldberg up now?
And no one complained, because he about to be in a major main event.
I'm telling you,
probably for the championship in a few months.
I'm down for Jay versus Goldberg. I think that's fantastic. I'm down for that. Book that shit. What else y'all got from Crown Jewel? Anything else y'all want to talk about? I thought Gunther Cody was great. I thought that match was fantastic.
Yep.
I thought it was super high level wrestling. I did.
Yes.
I thought from a storyline or story perspective, for the moves, psychology, that it was two pros that it just felt like they were like, all right, y'all got 25 minutes, whatever you got. Give us what you got. And they came back with that. I thought it was match of the night. That triple threat U.S. match was super fun. That may have been my match of the night, but I enjoyed Bronson Reed and Seth. Those are probably like my top 3 matches.
I'm getting confused. No, I think that's Raw. The women's tag team match. Was that on Raw? Yeah, that was on Raw. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Well, that was match number 2 on Crown Jewel.
Yeah, you're talking about the
no,
tag
I'm still mixing it up.
match?
I'm still thinking about the women's match on Raw. But
okay.
Yeah. Overall, though, I thought Crown Jewel was a solid PLE. I mean, again, we know that we're waiting for this Bloodline War Games, but I would say that for E, because E doesn't know this, I was about to actually leave during the Cody and Gunther match, and I was probably maybe Matt give it 5 minutes in, 6 minutes in.
No, it was later. It was more than that.
Okay.
And Rhodesia's like, should I leave? She had some errands she had to run, and I was like, well, if you're enjoying what you're seeing right now, then no. But if you're not, leave, because this is what you're getting. Like, because they're working right now. And then she stayed, but she missed the handshake. She missed the super aggressive handshake
and
from Gunther. Somebody said on Twitter to me, like, it's funny because you could tell Gunther was saying nice things, but he was just so aggressive about it. I'm like, absolutely.
Well, no, he was. You could read his mouth, like, because you had sent me the video of it. He's pretty much like, kudos, great match, thanks for bringing this out of me. But like you said, it was like, whoa, like back up, chill, man. We just had a match here, but I was really impressed because it's Cody, and then of course it's Gunther, and those first several minutes, again, it's slow, and it's that style of wrestling, which again is not one of my favorite styles of wrestling. But I was so happy that I actually stayed and finished watching it, because I was on a time crunch actually, but I was like, you know what? This is really good. And when we talk about like in those trick matches, like how he doesn't change gears, they did the changing of the gears like so flawless that I didn't even realize the changing of the gears was happening. I just realized that I was getting more excited, and like did not want to get up from watching this match. And overall, when Matt said that it's like 2 professionals, that's probably the best way to explain it, because I was like, wow, this is great.
Yep, 2 pros in the ring. A couple of things for me. Cody Rhodes proved again why he's the second biggest babyface in the past 30 years next to Stone Cold Steve Austin.
You mean John Cena?
Is Stone Cold a face? He was a face?
He was.
Yeah,
Cody Rhodes surpassed John Cena a long time ago.
To you.
And Gunther.
Not when John Cena whooped his ass at WrestleMania for that title.
Let's go, baby. Not to me. I'm using numbers. Men lie, women lie. Numbers don't.
Oh, that's the case. Roman Reigns is the GOAT of all GOATs, and you know that. So then Roman Reigns is the number 1 guy.
I said babyface.
He's been a babyface.
And then Gunther on Raw teasing a babyface run.
Yeah. Yo.
Yeah.
I like it.
He's you know what? He's coming off real boring like.
Mm-hmm.
Real boring like.
I was about to say they need to do something.
That's what I'm saying.
We just talked a couple weeks ago. I think EU asked us 2 pods ago about what we thought about this title reign. We're like, it's there because like nothing's happening yet. They got all right. Let's get moving.
Yep.
It's time to do something with this title reign. And like,
but
Priest is up next.
Him being a humble champion. Like I don't know if I want to see that at all, to be honest with you. But at the same time, like I feel like at this point, if you took away, I don't know what they're doing, Jimani. Like, right, I don't know why they removed him from the act. I thought it was to give Kaiser a shine as a singles, like, right? Cause he's obviously ready. He can go in. We've seen him in single matches. He can go, right? It helps that he's been going against Sheamus, but he's been in the ring with anybody. He's been going. He's ready for a singles push. He looks like a star. But in the meantime, I'm like, why take Giovanni? Because Giovanni looks good standing with those guys, right? Okay. I don't know if I want to see a Kaiser versus Gunther.
I don't.
Like, I don't know.
It's not time yet. Yeah, I don't.
I don't want to see humble Gunther versus Kaiser. Like, I don't know if I want to see that, especially not for the championship. Now, maybe if he loses to someone, Gunther, and he drops the title to somebody, and we see that as kind of like his next thing, kind of tie him over to the next thing he does, that might be cool. But I'm thinking maybe what if this is all like this humble Gunther just to set up like a vicious ass, like not heel turn, but just some kind of vicious heel attack on somebody. Like, right? But at the same time, I'm like, man, you got to get Kaiser and Gunther away from each other? Because I don't. It seems weird now that he got this dude talking for him. He don't talk for him really either. I don't know what they're doing. It's a weird dynamic to me.
So, speaking of weird dynamics, and we can get back to what you just asked, but it's in line with babyface and heels. And this was something that I didn't get a chance to talk about on the last pod. You guys brought it up. LA Knight. When he interrupted that game 7, I said, okay, that's like a really heelish move, but all right. Looking at him walk down to the ring at Crown Jewel, I was like, he looks like a heel. It wouldn't be the worst thing to turn LA Knight heel. I know that sounds nuts because of the response that he gets. But I think he would be even more comfortable as a character being a heel than a babyface. But what he did, I don't know how you can cheer him after what he did in that game 7 and then how he won in Crown Jewel. It's just like, there's a lot of like, hey man, I'm kind of looking at you sideways a little bit. Like, I don't know about that, Los Angeles Knight. But he comes across as a heel to me too, right now.
It seems like they, and this me being overly critical, they had waited so long to like give him his reward. Like they were pushing him. And remember, almost a year ago, I was like, nope, I'm not falling for it. I'm not falling for it. Not doing this. Y'all not gonna get me and pull on my heartstrings. And they waited so long, and finally they executed. And hey, pull the trigger on him, give him some gold. And like to me now, it's almost like his title reign is kind of
damn.
But I'm gonna be honest with you. I think everybody this year, I think I brought this up about a month or so ago. Like most of these championships is just like kind of flat. And I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing because maybe you're developing more people around you, so you don't have your top 3 only. But it just seems like a lot of these, they're anticlimactic. Like they're just like, okay, all right, they're champions, which they should be champions. But there's nothing like, oh my God, their reign has been so incredible.
The reign on short is damn, I messed up the line. Jay-Z, what did he say? Your reign on top of short like leprechauns. He killed that. But what I do think is what it is it goes back to the old thing that we've heard forever in wrestling, and we've kind of seen it, is the chase is better than the reign.
Yeah.
Especially for baby faces. Yeah. Right? Because Rock had that bad. When he had the title back in the day, his chase was incredible. And then when he won, it was kind of like, all right, now what? So that could be what you're feeling with LA Knight, because a lot of, I mean, even if you feel a little bit of that way with Cody, Cody's been chasing for 2 years, a massive chase. Now he got it. But that's what you could be feeling. It's like, oh, the feeling ain't the same now that you got it.
And they absolutely could be it. Because I mean, like, what do they all have in common? You're right. It was the baby faces chasing. And
they had the big chase.
Yep.
Because you really don't feel that way with Gunther. We damn sure didn't feel that way with Damian Priest. Right? Like,
well, kind of toward the end.
No, I'm talking about that you were like, oh man, his chase was so much better. He didn't chase.
No, yeah.
He didn't chase. Yep. So, I don't know. Same with CM Punk. Maybe he'll come back and do something.
But part of that, like, we talked about with Cody, you had like, so after they chased for so long and they finally have like that big moment, right, was with them capturing and accomplish their goal, they have to have a big, like, what's next? And a lot of times they kind of like, like you build it up, you climax, right? Then you got to kind of build it back up again. Like, right? You got to build it back up again.
What are we talking about here?
Oh, yes, man.
Hey, whatever you want to talk about, you got to build it back up again. Like, right? And so some of that has to be okay with Cody, right? All right, he's conquered Cody. He's conquered Roman. Who's the next guy that's going to be a legit threat to his title reign that's going to draw interest that he has to fight off? Like, right? And now, like, I'm interested in seeing, this champion fight off this, raging heel coming out of, out, right? Like, that's the thing. And they typically don't do that until they build the next big heel that overcomes that champion, right? And then now it's them trying to get back and catch this. So it's always about the chase, and they have to just find stuff for the baby faces to do. With LA Knight, I mean, I see what you're saying, but I like what they're doing now in WWE with the championships. I think they mean more in WWE than any of the championships mean in AEW, and any of the championships meant back when Dirty Vince was doing it, right? Like, only one title mattered in that company, everything else didn't mean anything. Now at least you got people challenging for something, caring about something. Like, right, talk about the IC title. That title at least means something, right? Because Jay gave a lot of damns about winning that championship. Brown wanted the championship back. You know, a lot of guys were vying for that championship. It made it seem important. So I like what they're doing. It's just they're running a lot of stories right now, and they're kind of getting through some of them quickly.
Did y'all see that report that came out about Netflix?
No.
Yeah, you talking about who they want on the show?
Yeah, no shit. They want CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Cody Rhodes on Raw.
CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and
Cody Rhodes.
Okay.
Like, okay, yeah, you think?
Oh, we talking about Netflix, the company.
For Raw.
I'm thinking you meant like fans have
Oh,
voted
no,
and
no,
say
no.
that they
No,
want
no, no,
this
no.
on Raw.
No. The
the
company
Netflix. The
Netflix.
Netflix
corporation.
execs.
The corporation.
Yeah,
Netflix
yeah.
execs. They want those guys on Netflix.
Yeah,
Oh,
WWE
shit,
said that they
Sherlock?
have not decided what the rosters are yet. Let's play a quick game. Let's have some fun. I didn't even think about this before, just now.
Yeah,
let's
quick
say Netflix gets what they want, and WWE stays with the roster split. So Monday Night Raw has CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Cody Rhodes. Give me your top 2 or 3 names that you put on SmackDown and let them run that brand.
SmackDown. Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Rhodesia.
I don't know. I was just gonna do low hanging fruit. So you go. I was gonna say Drew. That'd be number 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Rock.
What the hell? Yeah, he's not gonna be around long enough
Good
to.
Pick.
Yeah,
good pick.
That's a hard one, right? Because those are the top 3 guys:
Mm-hmm.
Punk, Roman Reigns, and Cody Rhodes. Even if you say
Seth.
Drew
And Seth. Yeah, Drew, Seth.
Ooh, see,
My number one draft pick. My number 1 draft pick going to SmackDown. If those 3 guys are off the table, is number 1. It's just me, Oos.
Jay Uso.
I forgot about Jay.
I
Of
forgot
course,
about Jay.
Of
But you know
y'all
what's funny
forgot
though?
about Jay.
He's going to change that music. It's him and Jimmy now. They're going to go back to their old.
I don't think so. I don't think we going to see them. Like I think you see a Jimmy and Sammy tag team before you see a Jimmy and Jay,
which would be fun.
Tag team.
That would be fun.
Jimmy and Sammy.
That would be fun.
Jimmy and Sammy.
That's fun.
Because
remember,
you guys remember before they hate each other, like those
they were first.
Like Jimmy
they were
was
first.
Yeah, they had the hands. You know what I'm saying? Like I could see that. Like they had a really good chemistry as well. Like I think maybe even better than Jay. Like Jay and Sammy have such a nice relationship because you know where it started, like right to where they are now. But Sammy and Jimmy were funny together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, right, because, and that kind of makes sense, Jimmy's the fun-loving guy, like, right, always silly, right? Sammy is very silly, too, and he can I would actually like to see that.
So you guys missed Braun Breaker. That's my number 1.
I was thinking.
Yeah. I would go Braun Breaker.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go Drew. Even though I think Drew is a step down from Punk, Roman Reigns, and Cody. I'm only going men just to make it fair.
Okay.
And then my third would probably be, right now, if you look at the landscape, it would be Jey Uso. So but he already said Jay. So say if I had to go with somebody else, I probably would go with on SmackDown. I may do something crazy and pull up like Trick Williams. Because I do think they're going to need to start pulling some people from NXT soon.
Oh, they will.
I think that's like maybe sooner rather than later they may have to start doing that. I know Montez Ford is, I don't know if it's a work, it's a shoot. I don't know if you've seen this, but he's been putting these little things out on social media, about if what we do, whatever we do together. And then like pissed off or whatever he's been saying, like kind of, I think it's a work personally, but I will say this, and it's crazy. I feel this way. Montez needs to be rehabilitated for me to care back about him like I did a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I would say that I would want him on his own. And if the only way I'm going to get that is him like now, like going off on his own, then I'll take it. But I think to do him right, because the potential of what he can be a face of of the company, not number one or two, but he can be a top dog there. Yes, I want him to go away, repackage him, and not repackage in a sense that he's a whole different person, but we just need some time apart from this version of Montez to what I think can be a made man in WWE. So, but if the only way for me to get him to singles is we have to pull him out now, I'll take it. But if we can't, since we've already waited this long, if we could kind of just end the Street Profits and then repurpose him. I hate to use the word repackage, but you get what I'm saying. We just redo him and reintroduce him as that bad guy. I think that kind of like how I feel about Jay. I don't want her wrestling right now a main event match if I don't think that she can really steal the show for a Mania main event. Kind of how I feel with Montez.
Going back to your Brian thing, I didn't forget about Brian. He's just not in my top 3 draft picks I will pick.
Who's your third?
I think we already said it. Seth, Drew, and Jay. Actually, not in that order. Jay, Drew, Seth will be my top 3. Brian will be there if he still was on the board. He will be there. But with Rhodesia and I talked a little bit about the Profits breaking up last week. And I think Dawkins has been on social media as well, saying some things need to change. So I definitely think there's like some storyline thing or something maybe they're trying to do. Because that team, and we talked about it, they've kind of peaked. And I know we said the same thing about the New Day at some point, etc. But I don't think that the Street Profits have reached anywhere near the heights that the New Day did.
Hell no.
They're stale, and it's time for a change. And I don't think it's a heel turn for as a team. I don't know if I would maybe do something with them right now, because they have right now, because we're kind of gearing up for Rumble, we're gearing up for Mania. I don't know if now is the greatest time to split them off, unless you have a huge program for both of them or for Tez. Like, right? Because I think there's so much going on to where, like, when they break up, if is a character change for either one of those guys, if they do it kind of low key, I think it might get lost in the transition with everything happening. I think the perfect time to do it will be maybe after Mania season. Maybe when they do like the brand split, like, right, and they do the draft, and they split them up. They split them up, right? Oh. And they can do a story where they build up into that split. But like right now, like, right, like I worry if they do something like soon, and maybe it's in the plan. It's gonna get lost in the shuffle. I get that,
but they gotta go. Like, it's time to move. I don't mean like they need to lead the company, but we gotta come on, man. We gotta do something.
If they split them off now and they get lost in the shuffle, they're gonna be lost in the shuffle forever.
Yeah,
in the eyes of the fans, because you already said they didn't cool off on Tez as far as single push, right? If he splits off and he gets like a character change, like, right, new ring music and etc., and then he becomes Giovanni Vinci or whatever it is, and he's just off the show, like, like a month later, because there's so much shit happening and they can't fit him on there. Like, I think that would do him a disservice. Like, I'd rather them kind of do what they're doing with the New Day, right? Do a slow build, possible breakup, frustration, and then right around Mania season, with the after Mania season, when they do the split, boom, go ahead and start it then, because they need new storylines after Mania anyway, right? Because a lot of storylines have already concluded, and it's time for a reset, and that'd be something new they can bring them into. Now, it is a long time for them to wait, but at the same time, man, like, I kind of feel like they're already. I don't feel like there's any lower they can go. Like, right now,
off TV, I guess that would be lower.
I don't. It's just, man. I mean, they've absolutely dropped the ball on Montez. Mm-hmm. They have. I think if you asked me, hey, has he maximized all of his chances while he's been on television? My answer would be absolutely yes. Mm-hmm. I just don't like what I've been seeing from them. I've been over for a long time with Montez. I've already said, when I see him, all I see is a cocky heel that has that mean streak that can cut that hell of a promo. Just That's where I see him at. But I see a lot of people as heels. I know everybody can't be a heel. I get that. You got to have some baby faces. But he's not going to get to where he needs to get to like this as a baby face. Now, maybe they can tweak him. And he's still baby face, but he's got a little bit more edge to him. But as constructed right now, I don't think there's any money in Montez Ford. I don't.
Yep.
And I hate to say that.
Yep. Because we know that potential. We know what that can be. So, yeah, I agree.
So we'll see. We shall see. What else y'all got?
Just a couple of things from Raw. We talked about Lyra last week or maybe the week before, and you made a comment about her wrestling ability hasn't like changed. Like,
right,
she's been pretty solid tier wrestling. We just haven't seen her, and that's how they're booking her. But I thought that women's match actually was really, really good. I love how it ended. Iyo giving Lyra that German suplex on her neck on the apron.
And then she just
I'm like,
stuck
first
it.
off, yes. I'm
and
like,
Iyo
you
just
try to
stuck
kill
it.
her. And then they pan
she
to
stuck it.
They pan to Lyra laying on the ground and like holding her neck. I'm like, is no one gonna actually go check on her? Because she did. Iyo gave it to her. Like, Iyo had this like pent up aggression of this whole time of when she was champion and all of this losing it, being part of a terrible team damage crew. People dying. I'm sorry. People.
Her legs was definitely numb after she hit that move.
Seriously.
She was sitting there. Her legs was definitely numb.
I didn't mean to say dying. I meant to say injured.
She had the needle feeling. Go up and down her neck
real.
on that one. Yeah, buddy.
And nobody went to go check on Lyra. But again, like I said,
no, it's not about this. Not about that. We need the shot. We need the shot of her being disgruntled and being sad that she lost. You need the shot of Iyo being happy that she won. Put the title back on Iyo. I've seen enough. I'm over it. I've said it already. Liv, I love me some Liv. Love me some Liv. Put that damn title on Iyo. I don't think it's gonna happen, but they need to pull the trigger.
I popped when Liv first came on and said that the Liv Revenge tour is over. I was like, yes. No, she said something else after that. But the point is, like, I'm like, thank you, because we're over it. We don't want to see it anymore. But I feel so bad because I remember when Liv first had the women's, I think, SmackDown championship, and her reign was kind of like maybe mediocre from what we had thought and expected. I was like, that was no fault of her own that her reign was garbage to me. And it's just like, now I just want her to drop the title. And that's just so mean because, like, I just felt like she's done a disservice to that championship because it's always been about Dom this whole time. It's always about Dom. And it's just like, get that title off of her. That's how I feel, just because it's always about Dom. Like, give it to somebody who is going to represent the women's championship, not a man.
Man, Liv do too much talking for it to be about a man. She'd be out there hogging it and dominating that mic. I think she sounded great on Raw. I think she did a great job being the antagonist. Liv as champion ain't going nowhere, man. Like, she's doing really well. She's getting a reaction from the live crowd. Us hardcore fans, we a little too hard on people sometimes. We look for things that the average person doesn't see. We make it bigger
Fuck the average person.
It is.
The people who listen to this hardcore. We ain't got no average people listening to this. I guarantee we all hardcore fans listen to That's Freaking Wrestling.
Sure, but we be tripping, right?
Yeah, of course. That's what we do.
When we say something ain't working, it really is. It's like we gotta understand that we like the 2%. Like, this is. Hey, listen.
Look, can we not talk about percents, please? And
look, when you
like 2%,
us hardcore fans are. We like when you invite family over to your party. Like, hey, you take care of family. You make sure they good, right? But you cater to the guests and people that you don't see all the time, right? You make sure
to the casuals.
You
the
cater
ones
to
you
the
only see once or twice
guess
a year.
What? Family coming either. I know that if I throw a party, as long as it's not in Georgia, but back when I lived in the same parameter as Matt and Rhodesia, if I invited them, they was gonna show up. I ain't had to say nothing else. They was gonna show up. I knew it. Like, right? So I ain't gotta worry about Matt and Rhodesia because they gonna be there. They gonna be there through thick and thin. Through the rain, sleet, and snow, they gonna be there. All right? I ain't gotta worry about them. You gotta worry about the other, everybody else. The fickle people. That's gonna be, maybe I'll show up. Maybe I won't. I don't come in. Maybe I won't come. You gotta worry about them. So, hey, we gonna show up. Hey, if we like Liv or not, we gonna turn we gonna turn that TV on regardless, right? We gonna turn that TV on regardless. Take care. Hey, you take care. See, that's what WWE is doing right now, right? They taking care of the hardcore fans. For the first time,
right? And the casuals.
But that's
because
what I'm getting at. That's where I'm getting at. This for the first time they are taking care of the hardcore audience while serving the casual audience in a much better way than Vince McMahon ever did, right? Because Vince McMahon will try to serve the casual audience, almost kind of boo-boo on the hardcore audience, but he didn't even know what the casual audience wanted. He's so disconnected from what was happening. Like,
his answer to that, was, let's do Legends Night.
Let's do Legends Night.
That was his answer. And then let's put the Legends over on our young talent and not give anybody the rub, so nobody's going to tune in next week to watch when the Legends aren't there. That was his answer.
Just do a parade. And like they wouldn't have had anything for them to do towards the end, right? They had them just come out there. Like they wouldn't have been involved in anything. Right? So yeah, Liv is be just fine. I think they need to do something with Raquel. Maybe getting Raquel away from Rhea, right? Because they wanted her to continue to be strong. And I think that was kind of to a detriment to Rhea. Because Rhea's supposed to be the heavy. She's supposed to be like the super bodyguard, but she's just getting flexed every night by Rhea. So I didn't do her any favors. So maybe now, especially with damage control, she could be that big hulking woman that she is.
She is looking better though. Remember I said they got to figure out her look. Last couple of weeks, they're starting to figure out how she should be presented, which I'm happy about that. Because before she was kind of like always mean mugging. She really probably maybe shouldn't be mean mugging. Now she's kind of she's smiling, but she's still showing like a badass. She got the sunglasses on, so I'm happy with how she's looking right now.
I don't like the sunglasses. Cool. This is just a personal thing. I can't stand when people wear sunglasses, especially inside of a building. Like, first off, I can't really see. So then, like, just to know that, like, you put something on darker, at this point, I can't hear, I can't taste, I can't smell, I can't do anything. Once you take one sense away, all of them were gone. And when I saw her first come out a couple weeks ago, those super black, like, cloaks, glasses, is just like to me, it's like you want to try to be cool, and it's cringy to me. I hate.
Yeah, you wasn't around for Big Daddy Cool, Diesel and Shawn Michaels. That's why. That's why you say that.
She wasn't around Big Daddy Cool, right?
Yes.
But hey,
exactly.
Let me ask you a question.
Take them glasses off. We're inside.
Damn.
You can't even see me.
So Rhodesia, let me ask you: is a heel being a heel?
Yeah, but it's a cheesy, cringy heel.
Only you, because you're a hardcore fan. He said, "You shut the hell up." And you let the casuals enjoy it. He told you. He just told you already what it was.
Just shut up and pod. Just shut up and dribble.
Just shut up and watch. What else you got over there? Did you say you had a couple things from Raw? Is that it?
And then again, kind of inconsequential to all of this, and when we talk about Bloodline and the top stories, but some really damn good wrestling. Man, Gable and Dragon Lee had an incredible match. Again, you don't expect anything less from those two guys, but I just wanted to mention, like, I was really entertained and I was happy watching that match. Again, I forgot how it really ended, like if somebody came out or not.
Dragon Lee won. Dragon Lee got the win.
But I'm just the quality of the match itself.
Buddy.
It was really good. So I just wanted to give a shout out to that.
It was cool because when I saw that was going to be the match, you knew it was there for that.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Right? Like, you know, like when you see matches announced, you're like, oh, they're going to work.
That's their banger this week.
Yeah.
That's their banger this week.
Yep. Yeah. And they did it. So good for them.
Yeah. And I thought it was over with Seth and Bronson. Oh, sorry. I thought it was over with Seth and Bronson when Seth did his little backstage video package, and then Bronson came.
You didn't think it was over?
I did for a second when
the way their match finished when he hit him with the stomp and he got up and Seth was like, "What's wrong with you? Why don't you stay down?" And he's not coming for you.
But when Seth did that whole thing, like, you know, in the distant future, I guess we meant like distant, like an inch distant, because it wasn't like a far distance. So I guess I'm still here for that. An inch distant. You remember he said I'm gonna see Bronson in the distant future, and I said like he meant like an inch distance, meaning like close, a short period of distance time. Do you get it? Versus like a mile. You know how I didn't. Thank you.
Don't worry. All right, are you done now?
Let me just make sure. We talked about Gunther being a face. Now I'm excited.
You stepped on my guy's new segment. He's got a new segment from last week. He's bringing it back.
I was still talking though.
I know, but you talking about inch injured back and like.
Hold on, y'all talking about getting it back warm again or getting it back hot or getting it back operational?
He ain't never said getting it back warm, but we talking about that.
Hey, I don't know what's happening.
I'm locked in now.
That's what we do. We go. We take it up. I appreciate that. I don't know what's happening over there in Chicago tonight after this podcast.
You got the perfect song, sir. Hit your sound bite, man. Let's get this thing going.
Listen, we about to go ahead and the Freaks is in full effect, right? We about to get real dirty, y'all. We about to get real dirty. Let me tell you what we about to do. We about to get between the sheets. You about to get between the sheets, y'all. We about to get in these dirt sheets and talk about some rumor and some unfounded speculation.
Definitely gonna get us
going on down.
Yeah,
keep
absolutely.
playing that dead. He's definitely gonna get us shut down.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm gonna talk.
We shutting it down now, man.
Talk over it next time so they can't say that it was really it. So
listen.
Hey, algorithms can still algorithm.
See, unfortunately, we are still the best kept secret. So we got some time. Man. We got. Hey, listen. Hey, I'm into ECW. Right, I'm getting to ECW right now, and I don't hear it because it's on Peacock. But Paul Heyman got away for damn near 10 years with real music on pay-per-view. On pay-per-view, y'all. He getting money, like, right? On TV. And, like, so we gonna be all right. We gonna be all right.
Hey, stop snitching on him.
But at the same time, that's okay. Cause we getting dirty. We getting dirty. We want to get between the sheets. Matt Rhodesia after the pod might actually get between the sheets. But we gonna talk about some rumor and innuendo. We're gonna talk about the booties right now.
What we got
so a couple of days ago, there was some rumors about Becky Lynch and her contract. But since then, Sean Ross Sapp of the Fightful has come out with a correction. He said there were incorrect rumors this weekend that Becky Lynch had asked for $2 million, and WWE said no, leading to her absence. Sources from all sides not only said it was false, and sources on WWE side claimed the number would likely be way more. So, rumor, and I believe was this Jonathan Coachman that originally said that the TKO said hell no to Becky Lynch, we ain't paying you no more. And she said, you know what? I'm taking my bag and I'm going home. And that TK, not TKO, but TK, Tony Khan said, you want to get that woman that bag? I will. Boop, boop. Hit that bag, go. Guys, do you think that Becky Lynch is worth $2 million or more per year to wrestle for your company? I got a follow-up question on the same topic right after you guys answer.
Yes, whether it's AEW, whether it's WWE, I can't talk for TNA because I don't know. When you're talking about how much money, especially TKO, they're making off of wrestling, and every single new arena is their biggest show, their biggest gate, and blah, 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 blah. Hell yeah, she's worth it. But I also think that the majority of the people are worth at least $1 million on how much money they're making. So yes, I think she's worth at least $2 million. When you first said $2 million, I thought that was actually pretty low. I thought she could have probably leveraged for more.
100% she's worth that, because you look at how much you're going to make. That's when you talk about the worth. What am I getting out of it? She wouldn't be worth $2 million to AEW because I don't know if AEW will get their return on investment properly right now. AEW, or I should say WWE, will absolutely get their return on investment. So yeah, she's worth that plus more. I think the majority of their wrestlers are worth that. As much money as they're making right now, we just talked about how much those WrestleMania tickets were, right? And that's only one show, one weekend. But you look at what they're doing with their gates and these big shows, they're making money hand over fist. So you making money hand over fist, God bless. Raise that money for everybody. Raise that stock up.
Yep.
Yeah, I imagine that would be low. I would imagine that she would be asking for something $5 million or more, right? Considering at one point she was probably their biggest draw in the company. But again, this is our rumor. We don't know what's going on over there, what the money is. But what piqued my interest about it was that TKO would say, no, I'm not giving a couple million to somebody, and that Tony Khan would, right? And it seems that Tony Khan is opening the bag for a lot of wrestlers, right? Like Okada. Now, again, we don't know what the number on that bag was. Will Ospreay, we don't know the number on the bag. Speculation that these guys are getting paid upwards of $5 million or more. Mercedes, upwards of $5 million or more. Like, right? Samantha Irvin just came out recently and said that her husband is a millionaire now, right? So this isn't rumor. This is her saying that her man is making $1 million and getting a meal from AEW, right? And I remember there was a video clip, and I didn't have time to add it to the show, of Tony Khan talking about when he originally started in AEW. He was talking about WCW and some of the things that they did wrong, and he was saying that WCW had a large roster of talent, and that they were paying for all this talent, but they couldn't use them all because only so much TV time, right? And now, you as a business, you can't pay everybody $100,000 or more just because you like them, right? Just because they're good doesn't mean you should sign everybody. Fast forwarding to AEW currently, if somebody Tony Khan sees and he likes them, he gonna get them and he gonna pay them. He might even pay him a big bag to keep them, right? So when I think about AEW, how bloated the roster is and how little TV time there is for these people, for me, I kind of think, I'm like, wow, like Tony Khan knows the history of the business. He's a historian in the business, but he's following a lot of the same traps that WCW followed. And it's almost disappointing to see. What do you guys think about we all know that the roster's too bloated, but do you guys think he's falling into that same WCW trap?
I don't know how to answer that question about WCW trap, but what I will say is he's a billionaire. And he's been a businessman for quite some time. I would imagine if it's going to be detrimental to the business, then he probably will stop. That's why I also kind of said earlier in the year that I'll be interested for AEW to go public, because now then you have board of directors that you also have to answer to and your stockholders, so that things like those decisions where it won't become the next WCW, from what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, with this new TV deal, they're profitable now. So no. And actually, I would have thought Ricochet was making $1 million in WWE. I think that's an issue if he wasn't. That's a problem. So I definitely think he deserves $1 million a year in AEW. But no, I don't think that's a problem. The problem strictly comes down to creative in AEW. Creative solves all your problems. You know how, like in business, making money solves all your problems? Where they're making money. So from a perspective like this, get your creative taken care of. Creative is taken care of, you're good to go.
I just hope that we said they're profitable now. Actually, they haven't come out to give the full scope of what their books were. We know that for the past 5 years, they weren't profitable, and Tony Khan continued to spend. So I don't think it's necessarily the money. I think that's the difference between WCW. Well, at the time, WCW, they didn't necessarily care about how much money they were spending. I think whatever has to change for him to care about the money he's spending. I don't think it's about the money he spends. I think that he's going to spend the money that he wants to spend because he's a billionaire. Right? He's making so much money from other areas that this AEW brand is a passion project for him. So he's going to spend if he thinks it's worth it to him. I don't think they worry about money until someone cuts off the other streams of revenue that kind of geared to. I think if this was his only thing that brought money to him, I think he might be a little more tight in those books. But for me, when you think about like just the talent, the creative, I still, when I watch the show, man, like it's just so bloated and it's just so big that I don't think they have enough creative to fix it. But I hope with the money aspect, I hope they can kind of do something with the production. I think the production, when I watch this show, is really suffering. And it's really made evident when you watch hours of WWE TV and then you flip on and you watch Dynamite.
Of course.
And it just seemed like 50% of the budget isn't there, or is missing. Like whatever this money that they're getting in, if money isn't an issue or never was an issue, I hope they take a couple $1 million and they kind of revamp that show the way it looks, like the lighting. Like it's some way the show looks, the lighting doesn't look. But the lighting
has to suck because the crowd's not full, so you can't light the arena properly because there's not a ton of people in the audience. So that's one issue, and that's also another issue too of why the TV product doesn't come across as great, is because the audience is thin. Like it was a show a couple weeks ago I was watching for WWE. Of course, the house was fuller, but the crowd just wasn't into it the way we're used to it now. Like back in the day, it was like unless you went to New York, Chicago, maybe LA. Philly, Detroit, those are like your major market for hotter crowds. And like other than that, the crowds were like super quiet. There was a show a couple weeks ago where the crowd wasn't super invested into it as much. And I was like, damn, the show was suffering a little bit because of it. It was still a good show. I think it may have been a SmackDown show. Show was still good. I was like, man, they're suffering a little bit.
But you know
That's
what's
what's
about the
happening
lighting
on-
though, Matt? Like
Yeah.
with lighting, right? Like it's like I prefer, like in my house I use daylight for most of the day. Then at night I flip it and I use like a warm light to kind of cool down. You know, I think what do they call that
Shit,
stuff? Like
hold on
it's
a
the
second. You talking
spectrum
about hold on a second.
type stuff.
Stop. So you just flip temperature lights in your house, huh? You see this Rhodesia? He want to talk all this shit about
talking about
money
us.
and rich people. I ain't never switched my lights in my house.
Yep.
Depending on my mood. Actually, the lights around the TV maybe, but lights in the ceiling, you a bad mother trucker, man.
Hey,
I
anybody
like
can
that,
get
dude.
these $20, $30 lights stuff. We ain't talking about $10,000 TVs now, but like it's so, you know, I prefer like the daylight stuff, but like on the TV, everything like is just blue. It's just blue. Maybe if they use like a warmer light, maybe it's something. Maybe they kind of glammed up the stage a little bit more. If they did something around the ring, just something to make it pop.
Okay,
It doesn't pop at all.
Perfect segue. I just pulled this up before we potted. I hadn't read it yet. AEW EVP Mike Mansouri says AEW will have sports style presentation in arena beginning in 2025.
Nice.
AEW will put technology to use beginning in 2025. According to whatever, AEW will use. Okay, that doesn't matter. The idea was getting more IP based with everything that we are doing, said Mike Mansouri. How can we get AEW to be more towards the cutting edge? That's always the challenge with our line of work. We're not quite sport. We're not quite entertainment. We're a lovely hybrid. How do we take our form of entertainment and intertwine technology into it that leaves us at the cutting edge and allows us to be trendsetters as opposed to followers? He continued, starting in 2025, you'll see more of a sports style presentation in arena in terms of being able to entertain the audience. There isn't in-ring content or tape content happening as part of the television broadcast. We want to create a nice split between a live event and TV show just to make that experience for those in the house feel a bit more special. Then it says AEW will tour 16 production trucks with overhauled A and B units. That's interesting because that doesn't answer your question per se.
Maybe
I have
it does,
no
though.
idea. That's interesting. What that
Maybe
may
it
be.
does. I talked about better lighting, better state. Maybe these are some things they're doing with the production to make it look more like a TV show. Make it work. Because you know when I was watching ECW, the couple cool things. So I'm watching right now 95. I guess Sandman had just won the championship. That's why I brought him up earlier.
Okay.
Just won the championship, and for about 2 shows, they got clips of other wrestlers talking about Sandman and what he means to ECW as champion, right? And it's not in the ring; it's like backstage. It's them, you know, going to their car, and you know, and so it looks like a TV show, like right. And they're just kind of clipping, like cutting quick promos about the champion, like right now. This is something that the arena fans will see, but this is something from a television perspective you're watching at home. Maybe. And I thought that was kind of cool that they're doing that because, again, this is a TV product. Maybe that's what they mean. Maybe they're going to make this more of a TV product, make it more cinematic for the viewers at home.
But I think he was saying more in arena. That's for, not on television.
But if it's in an arena, wouldn't it have to come through on TV, on production?
He said for when there's not in-ring content or video packages shown for the TV. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he said you'll see more of a sports style presentation in arena in terms of being able to entertain the audience when there isn't in-ring content or tape content happening as part of the television broadcast.
Oh, snap.
So
They bring it back to Dynamite Girls. No, they bring it back to Dynamite Girls.
All right, man. All right.
Okay.
They get, snap. They give them the Dynamite Girls.
So I can see that. I mean, that's what it is. You have your cheerleaders, your people who be dunking on little bouncy things onto the rim, and you have like t-shirt people who shoot out t-shirts. So that's probably what they mean by that.
I'm all about innovation. I'm never going to hate on them trying something because I think at times wrestling can be a little stagnant because everything is WWE and then everybody kind of follows suit, but maybe a different camera angle. But if your answer is worried about
twerking on the sidelines,
happening,
I might be here for that. Hey, they got some twerkers on the side.
TV. All right, man. Hey, look.
I might go to the next show. Tony Khan, let me know, man. Y'all twerking on the sidelines? Y'all twerking on the sidelines?
Do you have anything else?
I want to know about the twerking on the sidelines. That's all I got.
Is that between the sheets? Twerking on the sidelines? Remember? Oh my God, that reminded me of Key and Peele. What is it? Stood on the beat. Oh my God, twerking on
Which
the
one?
sidelines. Oh my God, you know it. It's their thing. It's right there.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't know.
It's their rap phrase. Pussy on the jam. Pussy to the jam. Come on.
All right, I mean, hey,
It's all
you feeling
funny.
this?
I'm
That's all
about
that
to look
matters.
it up.
That's all that matters.
Hold on. Come on. Just give me this. Give me this.
Okay,
because
well,
my heart is
we're
broken.
going to send this
My heart
home
is broken.
because
Hold on, I
we
just gotta do
cannot
this.
wait.
I gotta do this.
Okay, I
Hold
get
on.
that.
We got 8 seconds.
We just can't wait for that. All right, I got another yes or no question.
Oh,
We can
got
actually
it. Pussy on the chain wax.
Okay, there you go. All right. You felt that too. I like it. So we'll end on this one. They announced on Twitter, it wasn't on Raw. The New Day is getting an entire episode of Raw dedicated to them for their 10-year anniversary, which I think is tremendous. We can definitely deep dive the New Day. Maybe, I don't know, they didn't say when it was going to be, but we will absolutely deep dive that and make that a segment in just regards to their impact as a tag team, as a trio, as black wrestlers, all of it. We are absolutely going to have that conversation.
Oh,
but
that's when turn's going to happen.
Well, either the turn's happening or Big E's returning.
You got. And
I think there is no way Big E does not show up for that. I think the question is just going to be: is he returning in full capacity where he can work a match, or is he just showing up to try to get Woods and Kofi to get back together?
There's no fun in that. Come on.
I will be disappointed if this entire thing was just for him to come back to get them back together, and then he exits stage left, and then he's done. I would be disappointed in that. But I am excited for that. That's a hell of an honor to have for them to have an entire show. And this storyline was kind of their idea too. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. This whole thing, and that's what I said. You got your guy, what's his name? Ozzy Jones tried his best to put the kibosh on it. But this was their story they wanted to tell leading up to 10 years, which I think is super cool, and they're allowing them to do it. So, yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. I didn't know if that was like widely known about the 10-year anniversary show. And last thing, trash ass Starman got another one wrong. This man tweeted out 2025 Backlash will be at Tokyo Dome.
Who's Trash Man?
You know who Starman is. You absolutely know who Starman is.
Oh, Star,
you know
like
Starman
rating
is.
Star. Y'all uncle?
You know who Starman is.
Okay.
My man said 2025 Backlash will be at the Tokyo Dome. Then he tweeted later, like 10 minutes later, my bad. That was wrong. Because he got it from a fake Twitter account. Starman is reporting his news from fake Twitter accounts. Well, and some of y'all still are out there taking money out of your pocket, giving that man. Look, he's incredible with what he used to do with knowing the history of the business. But being somebody you go to for news and opinions, God bless, man. Y'all can start giving us that money. We'll open up a Patreon. You can, I promise you, we not reporting no stupid shit like that.
We might not be reporting at all. We might just be pussy on the chain wax.
Oh, Lord.
Leave a thumbs up. A comment if you like pussy on the chain wax.
Oh,
all right. God. You do that. Follow us on Twitter. We talked about that already. YouTube, that's freaking wrestling. Instagram, that's F&W. Y'all know we in all the places. Got a lot of fun stuff coming up, y'all, for wrestling. So thanks for sticking with us. We love you guys. Appreciate your support. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeet.